It is so nice that the week is over and I'm back down here again. Let's get cracking. Right, everyone, thanks for joining me again on another Saturday Hangout. Let's take a look at what's going on around the news at the minute, because from Tamiya, we've got a massive piece of news. We've got the return of the Clodbuster. Not the Super Clodbuster, the original Clodbuster. Well, sort of original. So up on the screen over there is the lovely, beautiful re-release of the red Clodbuster. I'm going to be looking at it over here on my screen. And what we can immediately see is that they've changed that front grille up. It is not got the 4x4x4. It's not got a Chevy logo on it anymore. It is just a plain grille on the front. I think that's a real shame, because I know they got rid of it. They didn't have the Chevy license like this one, where it's all beautifully Chevied up. But they did have that 4x4x4 on the front, which I thought looked kind of cool. And now they've just ditched that in the favour of a plain grille. And that is a bit of a shame. I like the fact that the red's returned. It's quite nice. I've seen, I think it was RC Driver online, had a review copy, and he hadn't painted his. He just stuck the decals on it. But you could paint that up really nice with a nice sort of metallic red or something like that, or a nice deep red that you could buff up, and you could make that look really, really nice. I mean, the Clod's iconic, isn't it? Absolutely iconic. But what a lot of people, of course, said when I did that What's Next from Tamiya video, when was that now? A couple of weeks ago now, is people were saying, what about a Clod? Or I said, what about a Clod Evo? And I know a few of you guys said that in the comments as well. Now others will say, yes, there are already vehicles that came out that made the Clod better, or were better than the Clod in terms of a Tamiya monster truck. And let's be frank about it, if you want to get a really high performant monster truck, you're going to look at a J Concepts. Let's be frank about it. But everyone loves the Clodbuster. I've not had one. It's one that I really want to add to the fleet at some point. Not part the paddock for the Ultra Raceway, just something for fun, something for me. But it's going to be a future purchase. There's plenty of other things that I want to get at the moment. But it's great to see Tamiya bringing back something, re-releasing something that people have loved in the past. Now the question is, what is still out there for Tamiya to re from the 1980s, from the 1990s, that you guys absolutely want? Now, a lot of you are going to say 959. I'm expecting to see that loads in the comments. But I also, for me, you guys know, I did it before. It's the Dynastorm. I really want to see that car come back. So let me know in the comments, what do you want to see come back? There's a whole ton of them still that have not been re-read. Come on, Tamiya. Give us something at the end of the year. Let's go. Now, this caught my eye when I was shopping this week. Virtual shopping, because I'm never really shopping. Was the Killer Body MAR KR10 four-wheel drive rally kit. Now this is an absolute bargain. Now you guys would have seen that TT-03 video I did a couple of weeks ago, where we talked about what other chassis are in that TT-02 price point. This one is right in the TT-02 wheelhouse. This is £125. Comes with oil-filled shocks, comes with metal drivetrain, comes with CVAs at the front. It comes with adjustable oil dampers, which are steel. It looks like, to me, that it's got hex hardware. It looks pretty cool. Oh, and full ball bearings. 125 quid. Now, yeah, it's a rolling chassis. Yeah, you've got to buy a body, a Killer Body. They're about 50 quid. Yeah, you've got to buy some electronics as well. But what you're going to spend for that is probably 220, 230 pounds. You're going to get a really good RC for that. Is it going to be as good as an XV01? Don't know. But £125, if you've got bodies and you've got equipment and you've got receivers and you've got everything else you need, that doesn't seem like a bad price to me. I have seen they did a two-wheel drive. I can't remember the name of it. Venus or something like that. That had the Lancia Delta, the Integrale body on it, which is a four-wheel drive body on a two-wheel drive car. And then they put the Lancia Stratos body on this one, which I believe is a two-wheel drive rally car from back in the 70s and the 80s. And it's got like yellow wheels, and the rear wheels, like a buggy, are thicker and wider than the front ones are on it. But there's a two-wheel drive shell on a four-wheel drive chassis. So why didn't they just think that through beforehand and go, let's put the two-wheel drive body on the two-wheel drive car and the four-wheel drive body on the four-wheel drive car, and that will all make sense for people. Or maybe it's just a very clever way of getting people to buy things twice. Who knows? And the other thing that came out in the news is the RC24 Zoom Rally RTR from Team Associated. So I saw this last night, and yeah, do you know what? No, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to keep loading on Team Associated. I've done that enough recently, and to be fair to them, I thought this was going to be one of those cheap 1/24 scale toy things like they put out at Christmas time, but actually it's not. And take a look at some of these pictures I'm going to put up on the screen. This thing is upgradable. It looks like the big 1/10 rally one that they did. It comes ready to run. You've got a little 1-cell battery in there, which charges up via a provided USB cable. I know we wouldn't do that as hobbyists, but you can charge it off of there. Comes with an all-in-one receiver and speed controller. Comes with the battery, as I've said. It's got a little brushed motor inside it. It is fully upgradable. So they're selling all the upgrade parts for this. I think it comes with oil-filled dampers. I think I saw that. Just going through and looking at the spec sheet while I'm talking to you guys live. How very unprofessional of me. No, it doesn't say on there whether it comes with those or not, but I think I saw that it did. But what it does have is absolutely oodles and oodles and oodles of parts that you can get to upgrade it. Now, I think Team Associated have really tried to do something different here, and fair play to them. I had originally poo-pooed this, and I'm really glad to see that this is something slightly different. Well done, Team Associated. $109. Sounds like a good price point, right? Go and get yourself 1/24 scale Rally Runner. So that's it for the RC news, and you'll see out here on the bench, I walked into the Grasshopper being down. That's because I was doing that RC Legends video. Episode 1 of the RC Legends was the legend that is the Grasshopper. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you guys for all watching that first video. As a YouTuber, sometimes you put things out there and you're afraid that it's just going to bomb and no one's going to like it, no one's going to want to watch it. You spend all that time recording something and no one genuinely cares about it. And you guys genuinely cared about it, and you all dropped me some really nice comments, and I'm absolutely going to do some more. I've got a series of them planned that takes us through probably till around October time. There'll be 4 in Series 1, and then I've already got the ideas for Series 2, which will be in 2027. So I have got plans. I've done an awful lot of research. It's all written down. It's all noted. I'm in preparation for the next one, and it starts recording this weekend, fingers crossed, as long as the weather stays good here in the UK. But it was surprising when I was researching about the Grasshopper. You know, that point about price and affordability of this model really hit home, and a lot of you guys in the comments said that. You said that it was my first one. My parents couldn't afford anything else. It was the only thing they could afford. My brother got this one. And I got something else, or I had something else, and then my brother had to have this one because it was cheaper, and so on and so forth. And there's loads of those stories. We got this one, and over here I can grab it, hopefully, without knocking the camera flying all over the place. Here's the original body shell that sat on that, which you'll hear me. I've talked about this in the past. This was our mock hot shot. The mock shot, if you want a better term, because we couldn't have a hot shot. So this was as good as it got for us, is pretending that this was a hot shot, which actually now in today's terms it isn't. But that's an original Grasshopper body from the 1980s with our original stickers and decals on it. That's how we wanted to drive our car. That's what it looked like for years. The other one did. It had this sort of cut off. And I didn't realize the Grasshopper had that extended body shell on it, because that's what I thought it was, which is quite hilarious. Didn't realize that until I got back into the hobby. There's me chucking it around like it's some relic. That's like a 40-year-old body shell. So that's the Grasshopper. We're done with that now. That is our legend. That's going to be coming back out on the track at some point in the not too distant future. Now, you guys also saw me teasing this during the week. The Chevy S10 on the TA something chassis. Some people say it's the TA01. Some people say it's the TA02. Some people say it's a hybrid of the two. I don't really know, but what I do know is it looks absolutely fantastic. I am so pleased with how this came out. I was really worried about the paint because I had to mask off the bonnet, which you can, I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera, but I did cock the lines up a little bit, and the grille bit at the front, this is all painted in silver at the front. This was supposed to be purple all the way down the side here, and I didn't realize that when I was masking it off, so I did white, which maybe was a mistake. Maybe it looks okay because it's just a bonnet. It's in that different color. But of course, back in the day, these polycarbonate paints were paint-on paints. So you weren't spraying them out of a rattle can. You were painting these on with a brush, which meant you wouldn't have had to mask it off. You just followed the lines, and there were lines. You can see there, those are the paint guidelines. You painted that bit, painted the front bit silver, you painted the body at the back, and I've locked out the spinny thing. This was all black in here. You painted that all out, and off you go. And then you'd have painted all the white at the end, maybe with a spray can. I don't know how it worked back then because I can't really remember. But I had to mask it all off, and I missed some bits, and there's a few overspray bits, but actually it looks pretty good, and you probably can't see it. Let me hold this up to the camera. You guys take a look at the decals back here. Yeah, you see this Goodrich decal here. It's got a bit of a crease in it here. I didn't realize, but that was actually the decal sheet was creased. There was probably about 10, 15 of these decals that had creases in them. And I sent a picture to Mark Bryan. I was like, oh, I've got to do all these decals. And then as I sent him the picture, I looked at it, I was like, oh man, those decals are creased. And of course they were. This one was creased at the top here, and I was really worried, but actually they went on really well in the end. I got a couple of bubbles when I was putting these side ones on. That was all one piece decal that went up the side there. And you'll see it's got this funny line on the body, and I didn't quite get it in. I probably need a heat gun just to push that in a little bit. But do you know what? I did say that this might be a shelfer because it looks so flipping good, but I'm going to drive it. I know I'm going to drive it. Who am I kidding? This thing's going to go out on the Orchard Raceway because I've been collecting stadium trucks. I mean, we've got this one now. We've got the Zorro Beast that is, I mean, that's 1/10, right? So that's a 1/10 stadium truck. And then apparently this is also 1/10. I mean, it's not, is it? One of those two is not to scale. And I kind of believe that the Tamiya is 1/10 because all the Tamiyas are all similar in their scale and size. I just don't believe that that's 1/10. That looks to me slightly bigger. But that's been around the Orchard Raceway, and it does handle it reasonably well. I mean, it's probably a little too big, but it's fun and I love it. So we're going to drive it no matter what because it's just so much fun. But this thing is definitely going to get driven. So I've got that. I've got the XV01T as well that I've got to do at some point. So there's plenty of stuff that I've got to go at, but that is my pride and joy at the moment. The thing is, I've run out of space for it. I don't know where I'm going to put it. I'm going to take you off camera. Oh my gosh, this is going crazy. Just look at all this up here. I've just run out of space up here. It is all got a bit too much. It's a very squeaky camera mount on there. It's all got a bit much, all got a bit on top of me. Because I've been injured, I've not been able to get down here and keep moving things around. So I'm in a bit of a pickle at the minute. So yeah, the S10, we are cooking with gas on that. Before we finish, little shout out to the channel members. Thank you so much to you guys for supporting the OAG RC. There are 15 of you now, and I am just so grateful for you guys all, choosing to support the channel. You can be a Orchard Raceway Marshal, which means you get some early access to stuff, and you get some extra shorts and things like that for the go out to members only. But you can be an Orchard Raceway driver, which means you actually get to vote on some of the things that I do on the channel, as well as having some extra other benefits. So go and check that out. It costs a couple of pounds a month, but it certainly goes a long way to supporting all the hard work that I do to entertain you guys. Right, and just before we finish up, I've got a tiny little tease for what I'm going to be showing you next week. This turned up in the post today. It's also got an old school transmitter as well with it. Fighter Buggy RX. Boxed Fighter Buggy RX. It's not a kit inside there. It is the actual model. I picked this up for what I can only describe as an absolute bargain. That was £50 for the controller, the buggy, the box, the whole lot, which was too good for me not to get. Because I can put this into the DT fleet. So I've got this, DT-02, DT-03 and DT-04. So I've got one of each of the buggies now, which is really cool. I wanted this. I know the Mad Bull's kind of the same, but I like the Mad Bull as it is, and I wanted this one to convert it up. It came with a box, which is in reasonable condition. Well, no, it's not. It's been creased. It's obviously been stored somewhere, but I have got one now. So we'll take a look at that on the next news. Right, that's it for me. I'm going to get cleaned up in here. I'm going to spend some time digging out the Falcon, because that's the next thing I want to work on. I want to clean that thing up and get it fixed up and get it repaired. You guys know that I bought like a whole barn find Falcon, which there's going to be a video coming on that soon. I might start recording that this afternoon, who knows? But that's been me. Thank you very much. Thanks for hanging out with me and enjoying a coffee on a Saturday morning. I'm going to go and finish my coffee now and get started with some RC. Thanks ever so much. See you all soon on the OAG RC. Goodbye for now.